Oh, there you go. Add to stream, apparently. Technical issues a go-go. And look at me, my floppy frickin' hair. Oh, that's going to drive me nuts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Look at this. It's fun. It's a wild learning adventure every week with me because sometimes I won't put my microphone on and sometimes I will forget to actually add my camera to the stream. You never know what you're going to get, but I guarantee you it's going to be some form of incompetence. Happy Saturday. Half caffeine for the win. Okay. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you've had a good week. Now, this week we had the Game Awards, and the Game Awards is without a doubt the biggest thing in the games industry at the moment. We know we have our PAXs, our E3s, we have our Gamescoms, we have TGS, and all of these have taken a pounding, obviously, with regards to COVID and this pandemic riddled world that we live in. But the Game Awards has coalesced into this thing that has just, I mean, it has more eyes than practically anything. It's this thing that people congregate around. It hits in December when we've got more, we're all recapping the end of the year. And this year, I mean, last year it was a pretty good event. I thought Jeff Keighley, who presents and produces, I thought he did a good job in pivoting in the pandemic, more so than a lot of people, especially, a lot of the events prior to that. But this year they went live. They were live back at the Microsoft Theater in downtown LA, practically in my backyard. And so the great and the good, or the great, or a bunch of cool people flew in for it. They basically decided, you know what, we're going to go, say we're going to this, we're going to go to a couple of mixes, we're going to have a lot of meetings. And so, I mean, I'm not complaining because on Thursday morning, I was down at the JW Marriott in downtown LA, right next to the Microsoft Theater at 9 a.m. having breakfast with some beloved industry friends who are also friends outside of work. We met in the industry and it's, blossomed from there. And then ended up staying at the JW for several hours. I think it was like 3 o'clock by the time we left in the afternoon. We moved to the bar and we saw more. Shauna was with me, and I saw more and more people that I know and love from this industry. I saw the entire Bethesda crew, which was amazing. I saw Sean Norton, who is one of my cohorts on the Lonely TARDIS podcast. He was in town. I saw my good friend Dan Heavier. And I met a few cool new people for the first time as well. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do that. And then obviously came back and I turned on the Game Awards, put them on the big screen on the smart TV that has the YouTube app. And I was like, okay, this is all cushy. And I thought, you know what, let's see. I mean, like I said, there was no way I was going to sit through it down there because one, I wasn't invited. I wasn't even invited to one. And that was a afterthought, last minute thing that somebody got for me several years ago. I'll get to the chat room and say hi to everybody very shortly, but let's kick off with my initial thoughts. Do I think this thing needed to be live? First of all, from a perspective of who I got to hang out with on Thursday, friends I haven't seen for 2.5 years because of the pandemic. Absolutely, yes. I'm glad they did it. I saw some amazing people who are very, very dear to me, which is great. I didn't see all the people who are very dear to me, but that's just the way it is. So yes, from that perspective, purely selfish, I'm glad they did it. From a common sense perspective, I have to say, I don't think it needs to be live. I think that 3 hours sitting in a theater watching, I mean, let's face it, they're not watching a big fucking stage show. You're sitting at the theater, and if you haven't been in the Microsoft Theater, basically you're looking at this, and then you're craned up at one of the video screens right there to look at all the reveals. When you do get to look at the stage, it's for one of the presentations or the amazing musical performances. I mean, they kicked off with Sting. That's worth the price of admission alone. Shauna said, well, if we got tickets, we would have stayed for Sting and then gone to the pub. And that's why I love her. and then the orchestra, and even Imagine Dragons, who I'm not a big, I'm not very, I wouldn't say I was a fan, but I thought all the live performances from the musicians were outstanding. I mean, it just gives credence more and more to how amazing the music is in video games, and how lucky we are. We've come a long way from the early 80s and the beep chip that was on the Sinclair Spectrum 48K. So yes, I mean, these people who write and record this music, they deserve their moment in the sun. Now I'm going to talk about the reveals. I have the whole list up here. I did have the list up here, and then I'm going to talk about the awards. And I don't really, to be honest, have much issue with the awards itself. I mean, let's face it, it's all subjective, isn't it? But we are going to talk about the elephant in the room, which was the initial kickoff. And I'll take all your questions as we get towards the end of the day. End of the podcast, the show, whatever the fuck this is. Show starts with Jeff Keighley talking and addressing the camera and the audience about the issues of toxic workplaces, of workplace harassment, workplace abuse that have broken, these stories that have broken more and more over the last year, 18 months. Horrific stories, and how, basically we as gamers need to vote with our wallets, and they put the helpline number up there on the website, which was all well and good. And I've seen people criticizing Jeff Keighley for not going far enough. Now, if you expected Jeff Keighley to go further, you don't know Jeff. I mean, he's not that guy. I mean, this is not a criticism of him. He does what he does, and he manages his relationships, and he basically doesn't take sides on a lot of things. I mean, he just basically writes that middle section, and he says this, that, and the other. And he's not going to veer into one or another form of controversy. I mean, I'm sure the poor guy is still burnt from that whole Doritos thing that happened all those years ago. If you were looking for Jeff to do something more than that, you were disappointed. I found it interesting that Activision Blizzard, who were a major sponsor, their stuff was totally limited. I was disappointed to see Riot Games featured so prominently, because obviously they are another company. I will say the one thing that is tone deaf is that he went from this, and Jeff controls the run through. I mean, he controls everything. He is the producer and the creator and the host. To pivot from that thing where we, say vote with vote, speak out, don't vote with your wallet, don't support companies that are shitbags, which is how I would have put it. To pivot to that, to the Star Wars reveal, which had me excited out of all get-go. I mean, I didn't know what was going to be right at the very end of that Star Wars reel, but I watched it, and I saw the Ebon Hawk there, what I thought was the Ebon Hawk, and I thought, oh shit, it's KOTOR 3. And I was like, oh, this is good. Look at this. We've got sabers, we've got this, we've got blasters, we've got Jedi, we've got everything, Coruscant, blah, 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 blah. And then I saw two words that instill fear in me. Fear, dread, annoyance, irksomeness, and general rage. And those two words are Quantic fucking Dream. Now, to see Star Wars Eclipse and then realize that it's Quantic Dream is like saying, for me, Doctor Who is being rebooted by J.J. Abrams. It's that level of, It's like, oh, here's a beautiful sundae. The topping is delicious. The cream is delicious. And you're getting down to the very bottom bit, which you think is a brownie, but it's not. It's literally a steaming turd. Because Quantic Dream and the individuals at Quantic Dream, the individual team members who make the games, I don't have truck with them. They've gone through a lot. I don't like the games they make, But that's a whole personal thing again, totally subjective. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I can't stand the fucking games they make, and you can put me on record for that because I think I've been on record because of Almost Human or Almost Playable, as I like to call it, and all these other ones. My problems with the leadership of Quantic Dreams. Obviously, we've had all these issues that have come out recently that it's a toxic workplace, that the leadership are basically shitbags, and on top of that, I mean, and it's that is the number one issue, that it's a bad workplace. And several places in France, media outlets have exposed this, and they're being investigated. And to see that come up directly after what Jeff said left a bit of taste in the mouth. I don't think, I mean, he wanted to obviously have a Star Wars game there. I don't think he should have had it. I think they should have turned around and said, you know what? You could put your video out wherever. We're not dealing with your Quantic Dream. Sorry, not happening. The other thing that obviously instills me the dread is that this will be the most dull, boring Star Wars game you'll ever see in your life. I mean, it's going to make Star Wars Connect and Obi-Wan look like groundbreaking interactive entertainment. So anyway, yes, David Cage. I don't have much time for David Cage, I'm afraid. I don't like his views on how he makes games, and I don't like him as a CEO or a games designer. That's just my personal view. So anyway, that's the thing. Jeff Keighley has to manage a lot of things, and I'm not going to criticize him for going straight down that line. The fact that he addressed it first and foremost, and he did get it out there, and he got those numbers out there, to a estimated video audience of about 180 million people. That's fucking mental. That's awesome. He got it out there, told people to vote with their wallets. As I've been saying on a weekly basis, Jeff probably watches the show and he thought, you know what, vote with your wallets. He probably thinks that was a great line. So you're welcome, Jeff. And again, I've worked with Jeff. We don't see eye to eye in a lot of things. He does things that I could never do. He manages relationships like I never could because I'm a salty old asshole, and he is a very professional and focused man. And he knows what he wants to do, and he has pulled it off. He's delivered the world's biggest video game thing. So I could never have done it. I really would have pissed everybody off. If I wanted to turn this into the Game Awards or whatever, I'd be lucky to get my local coffee shop to sponsor me to the tune of one latte. And that's Unincorporated Coffee Roasters of Altadena, California. I'm giving them a plug because they be awesome. And that's a half-calf unsweetened almond milk latte. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I understand people wanting more, but unfortunately, you're not going to get that at the Game Awards. You're going to get that from places like this, or places on Twitch, on YouTube, people with much bigger followings than me, people on Twitter who are doing their best to expose this. And that's how I'm going to lead into the next thing that I really liked from the Game Awards. And that's the Global Gaming Citizens, which the last time I watched, they had Steve Spon from Able Gamers, who is a wonderful, wonderful chap. And they had a lot of other people. And this time around, again, they had people making a difference, people outside of what, outside of perhaps, this that you're looking at now, middle-aged white man. And I got to say, I think that is fantastic. I hate the fact that it was sponsored by Facebook. And again, this is this is where you're looking at faux pas. It was, these things being sponsored or, following on from certain things. It's like, oh, we're going to do this really good thing. You don't get it sponsored by one of the number one causes of hate towards transgender, LGBTQ, which I know is transgenders in that again, but I mean, hatred against women, hatred against, every other ethnicity going. I mean, the hate pot that is Facebook. You don't get them to sponsor it. It's not a smart idea, Jeff. You're a good man. You don't have any hate in your heart. I don't think he hates anybody. I mean, I was once told. I actually asked somebody once, "Do you think Jeff likes me, or does he not like me because I wasn't on GTTV as much as I thought I was going to be?" And the honest answer, which I laughed at but I couldn't argue with, was, "I don't think Jeff thinks about you at all." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's very valid. He's a very focused person, but I don't think, he holds malice for anybody." There are obviously lots of people he likes, but I think that was another misstep because you've got this amazing thing, and to see that fucking dreaded logo at the end of it was kind of sucky, to be honest with you. I'm going to take a pause here. I'm going to check in with the chat room. Let's see. Who have we got? We got Simon Sinclair, Matthew Thomas, Ives. Nice to see you. Windswept Dragon, Mark Simpson in the house. RPG, fresh off watching our boys win 1-0 over Aston Villa. Stevie G returns and he loses, but a good performance from them. In towards the end, we bossed them in the first half. Stage Select in the house. Nice to see you, King Ding, and King Ding's joined us. And and Mark Simpson asks, "Am I going to watch F1 tomorrow?" It'll probably be on after I've woken up, or it'll probably be finished after by the time I wake up. I'm not a big Formula One fan. I used to watch it when I lived in the UK because it was on, Sunday Grandstand or whatever, and it would be, this back in the days of Michael Schumacher and Nigel Mansell. Michael Schumacher, obviously, rest in peace. That's when I used to watch it with some friends, and we'd, it's like, oh, Nigel Mansell, woo. I am very aware of, I think there's the big rivalry tomorrow. If Lewis Hamilton wins, he'll take Schumacher's record for the most world championships. And he's neck and neck with, I think, Verstappen. And that's obviously because that stuff's just bled in here. So that's one, again, be thankful I'm not doing this on a Sunday. And there's another reason for not doing it on a Sunday. Tomorrow's my 9th wedding anniversary. So I'm going to get up, have breakfast, make some breakfast, maybe take the wife for breakfast, or we'll have breakfast in bed or something. And so there'll be no working or streaming or anything like that. It's going to be a chill day. So yes, obviously the Brit in me and the fact that I really like Lewis Hamilton, he seems like a really decent dude. Would love to see him do well, but I really, that's as far as it goes. I thought Michael Schumacher Sr. passed. But what do I know? This is the thing. I thought he passed. I thought he had a car crash or something. Again, this is how much I don't know. I gotta clean my glasses. There's a spot on them. All right, so back to the Game Awards. And now I'm going to have a look. Well, no, Senna died. I know Senna died that horrible crash all those years ago. Maybe I just got it wrong. Maybe I just read the headline that Burnley Eccleston doesn't want Michael Schumacher's record to be broken, which I find really fucking bizarre because records are made to be broken. And I thought something had happened to Schumacher. So there you go. I obviously got it wrong. Okay. Let's look at the awards. So, and obviously, this is the Game Awards. I and so many others do find it kind of amusing that a show called The Game Awards only has, 15% of its runtime actually allocated to awards. And I did a totally scientific and totally irrefutable proof of, facts poll on Twitter this week after the Game Awards. And 90% of the people, when I asked, what do you watch the Game Awards for? Awards or the reveals? 90% of people said the reveals. So it should be the game reveals, because the awards feel like it feels like they just shouldn't be there. They feel like drunk Uncle Steve, who sits in the corner every Christmas and just drinks himself into a stupor, spouts something it makes everybody feel uncomfortable, and then everybody goes back to playing Jenga or Cards Against Humanity or watching the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special, whatever it is you do on Christmas, wherever you are. it seems superfluous. And I know it's called the Game Awards, and the awards themselves look very pretty. I just don't think they need them. I think that, we'll go through the awards in a second. I just don't think Jeff needs to do them. I think, honestly, if he's smart, ditch the fucking awards and just call it the game reveals. Call it the big gaming reveal blowout 2022 for next year. And let's stop this award crap. Because let's face it, 60 or 70% of the actual awards were delivered like this. And here's the award for best multiplayer game. And as you saw, there was a little thing there. He didn't even read up the fucking nominations. And the winner is So there wasn't even any fucking surprise where it's like looking at it, because it was all on the auto prompt. There was no surprise. So it was just, as an award show, it was fucking atrocious because of just how the awards were handled. Some people came up on stage. It's like, oh, we have a couple of celebrities who are here who we have to get out in the first sort of like 20, 25 minutes so that they can all fuck off to the pub. I mean, it was great to see Giancarlo Esposito, Ming-Na Wen, and Simu Liu come out and do their thing and have some chuckles, present some awards, and then they were off. I mean, all contractually obligated to one public performance by their publishers, and that's what they did. But the fact that, and this goes back again to sitting in the theater, I really just couldn't imagine, like, okay, so now we've got, we've seen 2 reveals. Now it's going to be back to the stage, surely. And no, it's another reveal. Oh, what's it? This is actually isn't a reveal. It's a fucking ad because they're all seamless because it's all online. And here's the ad that's coming in that's scheduled for Verizon Gaming or Google Gaming or whatever. Or a game that came out a year ago. It's like, we're still here. We're still relevant. Well, we're running an ad because we never got nominated for anything ever, whatever. So I will say, Jeff, as somebody who has worked with you and knows how hard you work, just cut the awards thing aside. Do the awards, honestly, do the awards like DICE does. If you want to do TGM, do the awards like DICE does. All the nominees invited, sit down dinner, some booze, do it that way. You can do it as a after show, or you can do it as as an after show. I mean, why don't you do that? Or even mid show, you basically start off with the first hour of reveals presented by Jeff, presented by whoever, the interviews and everything. And then you cut to the actual award ceremony where everybody just comes up, gets their award. They get their moment in the sun. They've worked for 4 or 5 years on this game. They get to do things. They get to say thank you, Mom, thank you, Grandpa, thank you to the entire team, whatever. And then you go back to more reveals. That's it. You can just get them, and everybody else can go back to doing what they've done best, which is either look at their phones, talk to the person next to them, fuck off to the toilet, or fuck off the toilet, not come back and go to the bar. I mean, if you look at the seating at the Game Awards, the place was, conservative estimate, 1/3 empty, 2/3 full. It might even have been a little bit more empty than that. There was an awful lot of empty spaces. I understand they had a ticketing issue, and that kept a lot of people out, so they were coming in late. The other thing was the weather. We got rain in LA on Thursday. It was like, oh, there's an event in LA. I'm just going to open the heavens. I'm not complaining. We needed the goddamn rain. But it just seems to be totally superfluous. Move it to one side. And like I said, the DICE Awards, way better. You should always watch the DICE Awards. I do feel they are much better because there is more transparency in the voting. It did feel like the awards were kind of spread around, and to see the people who were admittedly FOGs, friends of Jeffrey, come on up and fist bump and happy and fuck the Oscars, get the awards, felt a little bit uncomfortable. There's if you want to do an award show, you should have some transparency. You should have some separation of Church and Jeff. But that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's his baby. He made it, and he is going to run it the way he is. That's why I'm not doing it. But I had a really interesting Twitter conversation with someone actually last night who came and actually, sent me a nice little thread, Lord Nuka, talked about the categories, because the categories he thought were all over the shop. He, in particular, he was like, where was the management and sim game one? I think Forza got simmed. Let's see. Sports racing was Forza 5. And I'm not seeing one. I'm not seeing one yet. I am not seeing a sim game. I mean, he makes a very, very interesting and valid point that a lot of people play sim games, especially on Steam or on Epic Games. If you have a PC, there are so many games, even if it's something silly like Goat Simulator. But there's that big ice trucking game that does so well. People mod and play these games, and these games should get some moments in the sun. I mean, if you look at some of the games that are nominated. Best esports game, League of Legends. How many times have they won that? I mean, Fortnite didn't win an award, which was kind of interesting. I mean, I'm going to go. I mean, I would say, like I said, move them to a separate thing. And now I'm going to talk briefly about the actual awards themselves, because I'm going to run through which ones I thought I would have personally voted for. And I mean, the big one is actually the Game of the Year, and It Takes Two. I haven't played It Takes Two. I haven't, so I can't consider it. But the best game I have played this year was Deathloop, and I completed that damn game. And that's not something I can say very often. I played Deathloop all the way through, and I completed it. And I played multiplayer, which I suck. But I thought that was the best game I've played this year, followed by Forza 5, which was amazing, and that obviously took home in its category. And Hitman 3, that was another one. Going back to the chat room. Let's see. Matthew Thomas, do the Game Awards carry much cachet within in the industry? They do, because at the end of the day, it's a trophy and it's something to stick on the website. We'd stick it on the box back in the old days, when we had physical boxes, and it means that we could do a Game of Year edition. That's what it was. Mark Simpson, would the awards have any relevance if they were awarded by an independent body or a people awards? Well, that's the thing. The independent, it's sort of like about DICE. They are voted on by the peers, and that peers is a transparent list. It's the Academy, the Digital Academy, I think it is. But yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with having a. Sorry, I got something in my eye. There's nothing wrong with having People's Choice Awards, people voted awards. The issue I have is when you have a People's Choice Award and that goes to a game that's been out for for about 36 hours in Halo Infinite. And I haven't played Halo Infinite yet. I haven't had a chance. It's installed on my hard drive. I am going to play it at some point. I have no doubt that it's great. I know they got the beta out there, but for it to come out, they had the multiplayer and everybody got that and everybody played that, and that's great. But that's only half the game. Halo has a single player component, and for it to get the award it did, which was where is it? Hang on, I can't find the bloody thing. Halo Infinite, the player's voice award. I mean, player's choice, I'm guessing, for it to get that after 36 hours out. Smacks a little bit of crookedness. But anyway, I mean, it shouldn't have been nominated because they should have a cutoff period as well. It should be, if the awards are being held on this date, the cutoff for all the nominations and tabulation of said votes should be probably a week before to stop any sort of like spamming and get through everything. So yeah, kind of left a bad taste there. But on the whole, I really don't care too much about the various awards. It would have been nice to see some Friends games win a little bit more, but people seem to be generally happy. I still don't get the Elden Ring. I've looked at the trailers. I'm stunned that it's a George R.R. Martin joint, as it were, and there's not one penis in it. So perhaps the penises will come later. But yeah, it seems like a match made in hell for me. It's not my cup of tea. So, I'll just recuse myself and say, if you were waiting for the game, you're looking forward to the game, happy, joy for you. I just know that as somebody who doesn't like From Software's games, I'll be giving it a pass. But you should enjoy it if you want it, if it's yours. Okay. Let's talk about the reveals. Now, obviously, I touched on the reveals, and I'm just going to go through a few of them very quickly. I did talk about the Star Wars game, which looked great up until the words Quantic Dream appeared, and screw that. They showed some new footage for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And this was bizarre. This was one of those, like stage managed events where an actress playing Amanda Waller storms out, says, "Clearly, what are you doing trying to show this stuff? I will make sure that all you people are going to be in trouble if you look at this," and stomps off again. And I'm sure somebody in marketing thought it was a great idea. It just didn't seem to mesh well because it was like one of those really bad skits that you'd get at the Oscars. It just didn't work for me personally. Game itself looks really cool. I mean, it's Rocksteady. It's 4 players. It's, playing as these characters trying to take down the likes of Flash and Batman and Green Lantern and Superman and Wonder Woman. And every time I see something on this, I am so down for it. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when it's coming out, though. Next year after, maybe. Maybe they should not show anymore. Just, when we have it, we have it. What's next? Star Wars Eclipse, I talked about. But you got this little thing streaming here. Wonder Woman. So we'll stay on the WB tip. Wonder Woman is happening. Don't know where, don't know when, but it's going to be on consoles and probably PC at some point in the next decade. And all we got was just like a voiceover and some cinematics of a Wonder Woman. We don't know if Gal Gadot is going to be involved. All for it. Hope it's a good game. I mean, let's face it, given, if it's from a quality developer, we could be looking at something really cool. The Wonder Woman equivalent of Arkham Asylum. As long as they get it right and the characters are solid, I'll play it. That's the thing. I hope it's better than the last movie. But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. What's next? Alan Wake 2. Now, this one was a surprise. It's been a long time since we've seen Alan Wake. And to see him come out, and this game totally kind of different to what we've seen before. And to see that it's more of a, it is... It seems more action-oriented than before. Obviously, a lot more buildings. And I watched the trailer, and it seems like Alan's a bit of a dick, which I kind of like. But yeah, Alan Wake 2, I liked Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake American Nightmare, whatever it was. I've still got them on my Steam list. I haven't played them in a long time. Alan Wake is not out. Alan Wake 2 is coming at some point, again, in the next 22 years. 2023, in fact, Alan Wake 2. So we're going to wait for another 2 years. Forspoken. Now, hang on. Is this the one that I think it is? This is the one coming from Square Enix. Yes, okay. Forspoken. No idea what it's about. It looks like never-ending story meets Lord of the Rings type thing. There was a movie when I was growing up, a really awful movie called A Kid in King Arthur's Court, about a child who gets time traveled back to the days of King Arthur. And this looks like an update of that. Not for me, but looks great. Looks pretty. Hellblade 2. Watched they obviously, it was one of the things they opened the show with. Apparently it was playable gameplay demo. Didn't see it myself. I just saw a rolling demo that didn't look like it was playable. If it was, not cinematic and actually in game, great. But for something for something to say, for somebody to tell me this is playable footage captured this past weekend, you better show me somebody actually doing something and not watching another character provoke a big monster with half a hand and a bald head. It's like a Gollum on toast, Gollum on steroids and stuff. King Ding. Yeah, see, Kid in King Arthur's Court. You should definitely watch it. Yeah, so this Hellblade 2, I will be very interested to see how it turns out. Obviously, it's a sequel. Halo, the TV show. That looked kind of cool. They got a good cast. That's coming to Amazon, I think, next year. I'm down with that. I'm just scrolling down the list that's on Polygon, by the way. If I miss something out, please feel free to mention it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. I did sit through all of the Game Awards, by the way. I stood to get my minutes on my Apple Watch and to refill my cocktail because my darling wife made me a nice batch of Manhattans, which was good. Sorry, I'm just stretching because that's what I have to do now because, old. This is what old people do. Yeah, Halo trailer. Looks like it does not suck. I have hopes for this. Not super high hopes, but I have hopes. But there's hopes. Fingers crossed. All right, Elden Ring. And I'm only doing that to wind everybody up. I know it's going to sell to everybody who... Look, this is my theory about Elden Ring. It will sell to everybody who loves Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and From Software in general. And then it will also, and they will rave about it, and they will say how they are speedrunning it and completing it on monstrous level because that's the only way a true otaku plays video games. And then the other people who will buy it are those people who will basically say, "Oh, I bought Elden Ring and I finished it, but I don't want to talk about it," having watched the YouTube run-throughs, and so they could talk about, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z part there, the ending. Yeah, absolutely. Those are the people who are going to buy Elden Ring. Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers was a disappointing trailer, and I'll tell you why. It was it was a bad trailer. You watch that trailer. In fact, I can't download it. I didn't have time to download stuff. I was busy working till 10 o'clock last night. But I will put more videos in as we move forward. But yeah, you watch that Sonic Frontiers, sorry, and it's just bad. It's generic. It could have been made from 15, 20 years ago. Doesn't really show anything at all that is out of the ordinary for a Sonic game. In fact, I will go ahead and say that the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie trailer looked more entertaining than Sonic Frontiers. And if you can fight me on that. Slit the Head. Okay, Slit the Head wins the award for the most Japanese horror movie trailer of the night. Horror game, sorry, because it had a lot of really cool visuals. Absolutely batshit looking game. Incredibly formulaic from the first moment that the salaryman is walking down the alley and the attractive girl comes out of the alley and looks at him and he goes, oh, and then her head goes, and out comes down. It was, talk about by the numbers. It was by the numbers, but also batshit crazy. And batshit crazy is good for me. Most pointless game of the night, and again, apologies to the teams who work on this because I know you're working your asses off, but the most pointless game of the night for me is Gollum. Lord of the Rings. The little rat bastard from Lord of the Rings. He's getting his own game. It's precious and this and that and the other. And the trailer was okay. Gollum didn't actually even look that good in the trailer, in my opinion. I still don't see the point. And you know me, I like playing evil buggers in my games. Play the Old Republic. I mostly play as Sith. Dungeon Keeper, Fable, I tend to go evil. Yeah, Gollum. Just why? Let's see. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. All right, so this was the other skit thing we had where Will Arnett and the lady who plays Tiny Tina, I apologize, I can't remember her name. Not being sexist, just being senile. That came out. I still think that looks kind of good. We'll see. It just seems something different to me. I'm looking forward to it. Among Us VR. If I didn't play Among Us on my PC, on my PlayStation, or my Switch, or my Apple Watch, or whatever, I'm not going to play it in VR. But, you know, hey, they're going to make some money. Good for them. Okay, so this is the other one, by the way. Star Trek Resurgence. Watch this. I'm actually kind of down for a good Star Trek game. I like the Star Trek sort of like squad shooter. And it wasn't a squad shooter, but it was a shooter elements. And I watched it, you know, I played it like 18 years ago. It was on PC. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm down with some Star Trek action. It's been a long while since we've had a decent Star Trek game. As far as, you know, it's been a while since we've had a decent Star Trek movie. I mean, Bridge Commander was fun, but that was the more the novelty of PSVR. I played it several times with friends, and that was cool. But it was very limited. Let's all be honest. The one thing that kind of left a bad taste with me, and I don't know why it struck me, but seeing Spock, it was Spock, wasn't Leonard Nimoy's voice, obviously, because he's passed on. I don't think it was Zach Quinto's voice either. And it just didn't feel right. And I think this is something, you know, again, I've grown up my entire life with Leonard Nimoy as Spock. And obviously Zachary Quinto in the Kelvin universe. But I could have done without him. Don't put Spock in the game. Take Spock out. There's plenty of other characters. Write lots more. Let's have a, you know, more Vulcans or whatever. But yeah, let's have no Spock with a really bad voiceover. Or improve the voiceover, I guess. But I don't know. It just felt bad taste. Bad taste. Arc Raiders. Okay. Do you remember how last year it was Metroidvania style gameplay that became the choice of a new generation? Look up that tag if you don't remember it. Where it was all sort of like, you know, you die, you come back. And we had all the games that did that, and Returnal obviously carried on that, and Deathloop did to a certain degree. Well, everyone and their dog is doing 4 players now. 4 players and 4 players and 4 players. Everyone's got to do 4 players because 4 players is the new co-op. It's the new Metroidvania, which was the new Zombies, which was the new World War II, which was the new Modern Conflict, which was the new free-to-play, that's the trend for this and next year. Everybody's got a 4-player game coming out, and we've been working on, you know, getting to this for a while. We had Backs for Blood, 4-player squad. That's the big buzzword. And I looked at this. I thought their branding was really cool, kind of 80s inspired in a lot of ways. I don't know what's going to move it apart from everything else that's out there. Let's talk about the Matrix of Awakens. I'm not going to talk about the Resurrections trailer that they showed. And I got to say, again, some of that talking back and forth between Keanu and Jeff was a little bit strained. Carrie-Anne Moss was definitely going. And actually, I'll roll back to the Sonic one, the Sonic 2 thing, where Jim Carrey just went full 1990s Jim Carrey with his camera phone, his iPhone. He just went fucking mental. I love Jim Carrey. I mean, he is, you know, he's not everybody's cup of tea. Shauna really doesn't like his shtick, but I do, and I've always liked him. And he's a good guy, apparently, with regards to what he does for, you know, for a lot of charities. And he's a kind of stand-up guy. But yeah, that was fun, but a little strained. And again, when Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss came on, talk about Resurrections and Awakens, the pitter-patter felt a little bit off. I didn't watch the Revelations trailer because we are 11 days out from the movie, and I'm not watching any more fucking trailers. I don't need to see it. Spider-Man No Way Home. They just released the first minute online. I'm not watching it. I'm watching it in the bloody theater. I don't want to see that. But let's talk about Awakens. So the Unreal 5 tech demo is Unreal, is Matrix Awakens, and it's got all this stuff and all these polygons and all these rendering speeds and all these 32 million cars, and none of which are drivable apparently. And it shows off the processing power and the gameplay possibilities of this amazing engine, Unreal 5, and it's not available on PC. I've got PlayStation 5. I'll download it at some point. But what the actual Epic? Come on. Really? Are you scared that people with kick-ass rigs are going to overclock everything, and then there'll be a bunch of videos on YouTube saying, Unreal 5 actually isn't that... was it not? Is it Unreal? Not Unreal. What am I talking about? Not Unity. Shit. What is Epic's game engine? I'm not thinking it's Unreal 5. Good God. What is it? Is it Unreal 5? I can't remember. I just literally had a brain fart on camera. Everybody should have a brain fart on camera. It's great. It shows I am being senile. But anyway, this friggin' engine in this game, I mean, were they afraid that they were going to get all these videos saying, it doesn't really show off anything at all because I'm running it on a 9 million gigahertz, 550 terahertz flopped fucking PC, and it goes just the same as a PS5. It's Unreal Engine 5. Thank you. I was like, what? Oh. But then it's funny, Epic, sometimes it's hard to think of Epic, of what they used to be and what they are now. And it's kind of different in that they're so different in that they've evolved and changed and become this huge behemoth with Fortnite in the store and everything. So, yes. Why isn't it on PC? I want to know. Does anybody else want to know? No? Okay, I'll move on. Rumbleverse from Epic Games again. Oh, look, it's Fortnite, but fighty and melee and bum, pass. The Expansa Telltale series. So this is the Expansa, obviously the Amazon TV Studios game, movie or TV series, sorry, that they picked up from somebody else and then ran to completion, is now getting its own game. And it's, it's a kind of flip on Halo the game is now getting a series on Amazon TV, and Amazon TV's show is now getting its own game. And it's Telltale series. And I want to say so many good things about Telltale because their games have been amazing over the years. Unfortunately, how things ran towards the end, with how a lot of the team were laid off and no severance and were kicked out, and that leaves a bad taste. And I think the brand is damaged. Personally, I don't think Telltale should be in existence, and I don't think anybody should buy that brand. Somebody has either bought it out of bankruptcy or whatever, but it's sad. It's sad. And so seeing that, I was like, ugh. Homeworld 3. That was fun. Homeworld 3. God, I remember Homeworld 2. What else? PUBG is still going. I didn't know this. I thought Fortnite had their fish, chips, and everything else for lunch. But PUBG is going. They had several trailers. The Cuphead live performance was hysterical. The live performance of the music was beautiful and atmospheric, and the video that they had with it, the trailer with the little marionettes and everything, that was just amazing. Still haven't played Cuphead, but there you go. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, which is fine. Dune, we're getting a new Dune game, which is, means we'll probably get the Dune game before we'll get Dune 2. So it made me kind of nostalgic to go back and find the Westwood Studios games from long ago. And Metroid. Metroid was an award winner, and my thoughts on Metroid are best left unsaid. So, yeah. And breathe as I drink my coffee. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on the Game Awards. There's some exciting stuff. I'm happy to look at reveals. I don't want to see I mean, half the stuff was like, I mean, that was like the top 25, whatever, out of, I think, 136 million games that were revealed. I don't need to see all of them. I would like to see maybe Jeffrey of Keighley should look at, like I said, splitting the awards away, hosting a big shindig. We'll all get drunk. I'll get drunk at home because, again, never get invited. But it can be the culmination. It could be the culmination of, could it be the Game Awards week, where Thursday night is the Game Awards, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and indeed Thursday before the awards itself, all these there's a bunch of games revealed, and there's exclusive interviews, and it looks so cool, and it's all there, and it gets us in the festive, happy season because we've come to the end of the year. We've survived another bollocks year on this planet, this poor planet that takes so much shit from us. And it could be that we're all celebrating, we're in the festive mood, and everybody's happy, and it's like, oh, the awards are flowing, and the overcooked chicken from the hotel chef, and the overpriced wine, but who cares? The company's footing the bill, and everybody's getting bollocks. Then all the reveals come out, and everybody's slapping them on the back, and blah blah blah. And the gamers are happy because they're seeing all the cool shit, and the publishers are happy, and the talent's happy. And wouldn't that be great to have 4 days, maybe in 3 days? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Break them down. You could even go the same way as the Academy of the Movie Academy, where they have their own technical thingy, and you put some of the awards there and have a lunch, where the more technical side, graphics, engine, audio score, this, that, and the other, could all be hosted, and those people could have their day in the sun instead of Jeff reading. And the best music goes. The nominees are. And the winner is, auto cue scrolls up, blah, blah, blah. Mark Simpson, yes, I will. So that's what I'd like to see. I mean, the Game Awards could be a real celebration. It feels right now that it's not quite a celebration. It's more of a excuse for a lot of people to come out to LA, hang out. Not going to complain. Like I said, so people I love. But it feels like it's an exercise in pure marketing, unabashed marketing, and it could be so much more. I could still be pure unabashed marketing for 3 days if evolved correctly. But again, this is why I'm not doing it. But the idea of a couple of days of reveals, couple of nights, an hour here, if you're 3 fucking hours and only 10 minutes of the actual awards, you could have an hour a night, followed by the awards dinner, where you could actually watch people, tucking into coq au vin or fish or the vegetarian option and drinking gin and tonics that are immensely overpriced. But you could see people from the industry get up on stage, people who have made these games, who can actually get up and say, thank you, this means a lot. So then you're marrying the best bits from the other awards, like the People's Choice or the Golden Globes. What I say is as a joke, but I mean the Emmys or whatever, and the sort of like the more the gravitas ones, like the Oscars or the SAG Awards or whatever. And I'm quoting those because those are the awards we'll see, the Grammys, whatever. But you can have the best of both worlds. You can actually hype people up for 3 consecutive nights and give people amazing reveals and do it in pockets. And it's like, if you like first-person shooters, come to First-Person Shooter Thursday on the Game Awards week. Because this is, we're going to reveal a bunch of stuff. If you like your Sims or whatever, or they could just, mix everything up. 3 hours of that. And then the actual awards, the awards that actually mean something. Because unfortunately, apart from a JPEG slapped on a website or a sticker slapped on a box, while we still have boxes at retail, of a PlayStation game, the Game Awards, they don't actually mean that much. I mean, everybody says awards don't mean that much anyway. But having worked on a game that got an award, back in the early days of Spike, where Fear got better shooter that first time round. It's a thrill to know that you've been awarded by your peers. So yeah, them's me thoughts. Roderick Speed says Jeff Keighley did mention that his vision for TGA is to become a virtual Coachella for video games. Well, I mean, anybody who's been to Coachella, the only way to do Coachella is virtually, because anybody who's been will know. The older you get, the less you want to be in that virtual fucking field, I'll tell you. All right, so that's my thought. Mark Simpson is asking about Flux, Doctor Who Flux, which just finished its 6-episode arc, and I am just... My thoughts on it are, I'm enjoying Hawkeye. It had some fun bits, that final episode, having multiple doctors. It had some interesting payoffs. Thankfully, some of the payoffs that I was terrified were going to happen didn't. Praise the great Gallifreyan cheese gods. I like the fact that Dan is going to be traveling in the TARDIS for at least 3 more episodes for the specials, which will be back on New Year's Day. But I'm not going to share an in-depth, because one, I need to rewatch all 6, put myself through that to see how it works, and figure out the plot holes that are always you get in Doctor Who, but they're just more glaring with this guy, with Chris Chibnall. But I'm also going to do that so that you have to watch and listen to The Lonely TARDIS next Monday night on YouTube, Twitch, and I think Twitter as well. Follow The Lonely TARDIS on Twitter, and we're gonna have our discussion about this game, this series, and what we feel about it. And I'm introducing a new hashtag on Monday night, so you're gonna have to watch it. All right, that's it. That's me for this week. I'm coming in just shy of an hour. I have been standing. My dog has been so good. Spike's been here the entire time. Hey, Bug, come here. Come here. I know you're gonna go. Look at that. See? Now that should be worth a couple of likes on YouTube and on Twitter and on Twitch, and some follows and subs. I will say, as always, there you go. There's me there. So, and Spike says, please subscribe to Dad's Patreon. He has to keep me in everything. You Buggy, you say hi? Spike's not happy. I got him up out of his blanket. But yes, I do have the Patreon. $3 a month is the base one. And if you obviously get access to the Discord channel, of which people have just been sharing some amazing fun stuff over the last couple of weeks. I have some giveaways. I'm going to have 2 sets of code giveaways exclusively to the Patreon Discord crew. 2 games in the coming weeks, PC only, I think. But yeah, if you want to sign up, $3 a month. Let's face it, this was $3.50. I should have subscribed to my own. In fact, this one, because I'm a loyal customer of my loyalty points, I had this for free. Well, free is such a subjective word when you think I've probably paid for it 10 times over. Yes, so I would appreciate if you can support this weekly endeavor of mine. Things are slowly getting better. I now can afford to upgrade to somewhere where I have the look at that, it's up there. There you go. I dropped that up there for old time's sake. I have some lighting. I can schedule things. I can go live on 3 different formats at once. I will be able to drop videos in. There's obviously the crazy one where if you sign up, you can get this. This is the other layer of Patreon that's a lot higher. But yeah, I would very much appreciate your support. If you can spare $3 a month, that would be lovely. And like I said, if you are in the Discord community or you're a Patreon subscriber and you haven't joined the Discord community and need another invite, let me know through Patreon and message me, and I will make sure that you get a fresh invite. And then I will be dropping 2 sets of codes over the holiday season as you get to participate and play some games with me, because it's going to be fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words about my anniversary tomorrow. I will catch up with you next week for the final one before Christmas. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, because 2 weeks today, it's Christmas Day, and I'm not streaming live on Christmas Day. I might do a Boxing Day one. I might. Depends on the footy. I think we got Leicester that day. Oh. But yeah, I'll definitely do one next week, which is the 18th. I'll do it Saturday or Sunday. This seems to work. My Euro fans seem to be okay with it, and my Yankees seem to be happy with it too. So much love to everybody. See you next week. Follow me on the Twitter, like me on the YouTubes, subscribe on YouTube. Don't subscribe on Twitch. Give me a like or a follow or whatever. If you're going to do something that involves sending money somewhere, send it to the Patreon, because I get way more of that than I don't get anything. I mean, I've been on the Twitch now for a year. I've not seen one red cent. So let's do this. If you want to keep me rolling, keep me paying for these sort of things, getting more haircuts. That's right. I had a haircut. I'm purdy. Be good. Be cool. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Mr. Beer is about to leave the building. Have a lovely night.